Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, and
Hello.
welcome to our exposure. Today
Yes.
we have another special guest with us, and I would like to ask you, how was your day, Deborah? And how was your
My
week?
my day's been great. Well, the morning's been great. The sun's out. It just feels like an absolutely awesome day today. You know what? Everything just, I don't know. Today just feels very different. It was nice to wake up and everything was nice and bright. And actually, I tell you what was a good part of my day so far today was this morning was the first time my husband and I went out shopping together. So since we've been in lockdown, my husband was a designated shopper. So it was exciting to be out in the car again together, go just, even though we went down to our local Wyndham Cache here, it was nice. It was nice to do that. So what about you, Imran?
It's a great day for us, and great day. Even some of the thing is coming in our life. Like even for my personal life, we have two event coming. I'm feeling very excited. And also, I feel like the spring coming to our life. So this
Yes,
is spring in
absolutely.
our everywhere in Melbourne and in Australia. But before we go, we maybe need to introduce ourselves. So I'm going to start with myself. So
Yes.
this is Imran Abul Kashem. I am owner of Westend Photography. Me and my team help professional and entrepreneur to give empowering look and make confident in front of the camera and capturing at their best. And our specialty in headshot, personal branding, and commercial photography. So we talk a lot. Let's go to you, Deborah.
Thanks, Imran. Yes, so my name's Deborah. I have a business called Deborah H Dickinson Coaching, and I work with career-driven people of all ages who have just kind of lost that fire in the belly. You know, they've uh, sort of worked a long time and just kind of lost themselves along the way, or simply, well, not simply, but you know, sometimes people find it hard to work through the emotions and feelings that they have right now. So I work with them to help them build that impeccable mindset of success for life. So, and I absolutely love doing what I'm doing. And you know, it's like you were saying, it's spring is in the air today. I think it's such a beautiful time. So, and even the conversations I've had with people, there just there's this uplift in their voice, which is amazing.
So would you like to share something special coming to you or your event? Like I know one event is coming. Uh,
Yeah,
Share
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Would you like to share your event?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the 10th of October, I'm doing a presentation thanks to South Kingsville Community Centre. So it's runs for about 30-40 minutes. I'm on at 11 o'clock. So the link to that to go in and join me on that date and time is on my Facebook page. And I'm so excited about doing this and I'll be talking about, you know, understanding your communication model, and, you know, giving some tips on overcoming anxiety. But overall, it's a great opportunity for you to just connect with people. So I'm looking forward to that. And what about yourself, Imran? Because thanks to you, I got this opportunity.
Okay. I got the same opportunity. I will teach in the South Kingsville Community Center, like half an hour, have more than half an hour, 45 minutes. How to take better photos in with your smart device. So everybody now has a smart device that take lots of photo. But as a photographer, what is the tips they use and take better photo, better images? And
Nice.
other thing is in BNI, in Business Network International, I will be the keynote speaker on 14th of October, like 12 days after 12 days. I will be keynote speaker in that meeting. So I hope I'm inviting people who can come and join and give me a support. So that's the two special thing in going on in my
Yes.
world. So we
Yes.
talk about, let's talk about our guest today.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about our guests. So, you would have seen our little sort of promo the other day that we did with our guests. So, Kaz is an awesome lady to follow. She has so much energy, right? And like just being around her, you get consumed into her energy, and it's absolutely awesome. I love the way she describes herself as an open book, which is really, really cool, because connection and relationships with people is what it's about, and it's nice to know that you can connect with somebody like Kaz and just feel safe. So that's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her, and let's bring her in.
Okay.
Welcome,
Kaz.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So Kaz, just very quickly, so you've got background in hospitality, security, and now more recently in real estate and relationship marketing. You're also a trained coach, a trained speaker, and more recently you were a finalist in the 2020 Australian Mumpreneur Awards, and you got third place in 2 categories, being People Choice Leadership and Rising Star, and that's absolutely awesome. And so huge congratulations for that achievement. That is absolutely awesome. But I love, when we spoke the other day, you talked about your ethos, and your ethos is that bottom line. It's about relationships, and that's like I said, that's just so awesome. So thank you for joining us. This is going to be so good.
This is exciting. This is amazing. I don't do many lives, but you've got me out of my comfort zone and got me live. So yes, what a beautiful time.
So still, we got some support from Rob. Say, go Kaz.
Yes, hi Rob. Go Kaz.
So feel free, guys. If you have any question to Kaz, feel free to ask Kaz, and if anyone want to know. And before we go to the question, we're asking Kaz, like, you came in Australia as an international student, and you are spending lots of time in here, and now you are a award-winning entrepreneur. So tell me about your journey and your why as well.
Thank you, Imran. Yes, it has been a journey. Life itself is a huge journey. So I took off as an international student, not knowing any different, to do my bachelor's in hotel management from India. And once I finished that, hospitality was all about shift work and things. And in the meantime, while I was doing my studies, I got into security, and it sort of had a good grounding and good holding. I'm always a person who likes to be out and about. So all the careers that I've had or like to be with is always people. So 30 years on, I'm still connected with people. And if you put me behind a desk, I'm feral. I need to get out and connect with people. I love the connection with people. That's my deepest why. And like Deb said, my relationship with people is what I thrive on. That's been really good. So then I got into security, did 13 years in security and contract management, got into HR and security, did covert operations, recruitment and training, around the state for security. And it's been a really good journey. And in the meantime, I started investing. And then I thought, I like real estate, and I like to, that's the wealth principle. Of course, I had coaches and mentor on the way that showed things differently. You get wiser as you get older, and you learn from experiences. That's how I got into real estate. And that again had to be connecting with people. So I had to sort of fade out of security, because as I got into senior management roles, it was behind a desk. The only relationship that I was was contractual, financially binding. It wasn't that people where I could help people, serve, connect, and be on the floor. So then I got into real estate, where I could work with people, their investments, help them grow, and sort of nurture that. So that relationship has always been the central focus. And like we had a chat the other day, for me, I just believe relationships will outlast any financial transaction. So that's really been my
Absolutely. And just before we move on, there was something that you shared with us around your security and security time, and because there was quite a big job that quite a big, I suppose, event that you managed. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, you got me there. I didn't want to mention anything, but yes, my last biggest gig in security that I absolutely enjoyed, and it was absolutely back-breaking, leg-breaking, hardcore, was the G20 summit in Brisbane. I think it was 2014 G20 summit, and I was part of the World Leaders Zone, and with the Baracks and with all the other presidents and all the world leaders and the Feds and the secret services and all of them. So it's a really good experience that I had, and there was a good cherry on top as I finished off my security bit. So yes, thank you. That was a good.
Sorry for popping that in there. But no, I just, when you shared that with me the other day, I thought, wow, that's again, all the journeys that you've taken have had some really outstanding achievements as part of that. So as you talk through the different things that you've done and about sort of connecting that back to your why, sort of what, I know that landing you in real estate is all about relationships, and that's exactly where you want to be. But so just tell me, how else did you connect the dots and make the journey to where you are today? Because when did you arrive in Australia? Was that back in
2001? Long time ago.
Yeah. So just help us connect the dots between the different journeys you took.
Well, as a student, we do what you got to do to pay the bills, pay the fees. We did all of that and did what I had to do. Then I got into security, which was more secured, a more full-time position, kept me, stable. I could afford to go in to get a mortgage, get a house, build, wealth from there. And then real estate I got into because I had a couple of properties and I didn't think I was getting the love that I wanted to have or I would like to have had. So I thought, that's going to be all right. It's still people related. I understand a bit. I didn't know everything about real estate. And I don't think anyone can sort of encapsulate everything and say, I know it all. It's quite a deep subject, real estate. And that's how I started and got my agent's rep and now fully licensed. And then I started Marker Realty as a business 3 years ago. And then, of course, everyone else always thinks we can do everything. And I just wanted to narrow it down. And then we started specializing more in property management. All my business has been 100% referral based and grown through relationships of clients who've used our services, who've then referred us on to people. Imran mentioned BNI, business networking groups that we've been part of, really a credible organization to be part of, and had, success through there. Again, building relationships with people. People work with people they can like and trust. So, and that's so the way of being. And if the sooner we realize that, the better it is. And to expand on my wanting to give people and connecting with people and growing personally, it's all right to say you're a business person or an entrepreneur. They too have different meanings to them. The definition of the two are different. Entrepreneur will take more risks and take challenges and, do things differently. A business owner is they're different meanings. And to be able to feel an entrepreneur and go through the journey, and recently I've become a single mom as well. My coaching that I did along the way or the speakers training helped me through that journey and the experience. It helps you grow and sort of reflect for yourself. It's good to tell people where it's right or wrong, but it's very hard to reflect on oneself and realize your why. And for me, it's always been about finding my why, the purpose. And of course, we all do a lot for money. Everyone wants money. You can breathe better when you have it. But that's not the end all and be all. That's not the bottom line. For me, it's that relationships that help follow through, that go on, and I can give back to the community. I may not give in millions of dollars, but I give back in time. I run Monday mindfulness groups where we've got people joining in Australia as well as from internationally who join the group. And we've got a psychologist or different coaches that join, and everyone shares their insights, and we help breaking a pattern. Someone's got a blockage. We help with different things as well. And that's just started all in the COVID times. Mental health is such a big thing now.
Absolutely.
And it's the same with a landlord, with a tenant, with us. Everyone's facing this together. This is a global thing we're working with. So it's been a whole interesting ride to be able to share those experiences and give back where I can in every small way I can.
And like I was attending a workshop yesterday, and one of the entrepreneurs is saying like crisis creates the opportunity. Crisis, I like this word, and I want to ask, like, in this pandemic time or in this time, I think lots of opportunity has created. And what you was talking about, Mindful Monday, I follow your Mindful Monday, and I think you do involved with lots of stuff. Can you please share what you have done in this crisis time?
Time, you rightfully said, crisis creates its opportunities. So I like this acronym for fear. with the fear, are you going to face everything and run, or are we going to face everything and rise? So I chose the rise. I wanted to see the glass half full and not just survive, but pivot and thrive. So, that's where this situation is. That, like I said, we started the Monday mindfulness calls. We're about 25 weeks in, we're running on. And through there, I got the opportunity where I connected with some really old professors from back in India who connected and seen my journey. They've seen the change in me, introduced me to one of my other professors, actually dean of a college. And just on Wednesday, I got invited to speak to 160 students as an international speaker. And they were first-year MBA students. And I talked to them about networking and organization relationships or leaderships, of how we can build and grow. So, pivot and thrive. And it's not just how much millions have you made from it, from the crisis of somebody else. It's about how you've created a journey. And, there are a few things within the business in real estate that I'm offering out as well, and starting a white label service. So there's a few things we've worked on and trying to find, good out of everything we can do. So there's so much to offer. What are you willing to give? What the market's willing to take. So
Nice. So would you mind repeating again for our audience your fear breakdown again? So
fear has two ways you can look. You can face everything and run. Think again, do you really want to run? Because the issue still remains. It remains in you. It remains in your path. It remains in your memory. It still remains. But will you want to face everything and rise? And a colleague of mine shared this in one of the one-to-ones we had, and we were having a chat and saying, are we going to just survive through this and say there's light at the end of the tunnel? Or are we going to pivot and thrive? And that's exactly what Imran was saying, is from the crisis, we create opportunities and we want to pivot and thrive.
Yeah.
So everything and rise, let's pivot and thrive.
Yes. Now, I realised on our promo, that there was a question that we posed to everybody. And that was something that we don't know about, Kaz. Are you ready to share that, Kaz?
Kaz, as you said, is an open book. It's a lot of fun. And anything we do, I think you need to have fun. Yeah, even if it's business, you need to have fun. Yeah, you need to be able to take it and go the long way. But what I was saying is, when we were talking and we said, we'll leave that as a question, is in my younger days, when I worked on cruise liners, before I came to Australia, I was working on cruise liners, traveled the world implicitly, and had fun while I was in college, still deciding where life was taking me and doing things that a good daughter should do. I got into dancing. I loved dancing. Did ballet and stuff as a young girl, and did ice skating as a young girl, because when I lived in the Gulf in Oman, we had the opportunity of doing those things. And then in India, I had the opportunity to get into good old Bollywood. So I was a professional dancer with some Bollywood troupes and some really big names. And we did some live stage shows in London, Glasgow, Dubai, a lot of the places. So I performed in front of a good 20,000 people plus. And I'm also in Bollywood on the silver screen in some good songs and good movies. So that was the thing that people haven't heard. Yes. So that was my fun time. Now I go panting the minute I start dancing. I need to get my back in shape, but that's life. But it's a journey, isn't it? It's always been a journey. If you can evolve and use it and have a good laugh, and things remain in your memory bank, and you bring it out, and And it's been a good time to sit and reflect in the COVID times when you're sitting home and you go, what are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Sorry, you go, Imran.
Also, I would love to know one thing, in my past experience, I came as an international student in Australia, and then I slowly get citizenship, and I started my own business, and I building up the network. So I had and I never forget my first journey. This is a first love. When you come to Australia, how you struggle and what trained you. So can you share your student life experience in Australia? What is there anything significant to your life?
The biggest, I think, bonus or the good that I had, or the positive I could see when I came here first, is I traveled implicitly before I came to Australia. So I had a good knowledge of what the foreign land was going to be like. So that was the good hand, and I had command of my language. College was easy. hotel management because I'd worked on cruise liners. So the journey in sense was easy, but I had to put myself through things I'd never imagined working, I never thought I'll be, excuse me, having to work every day to pay the rent and have a lease on my name and have to buy a car, which, leaked oil all the time, like whatever you call the white elephant. We know we've all bought that and done that. And so it was a journey. It did take, but over time I built confidence and I believed in what I did. I believed in, what I had to offer, and I kept going. And time gets tough, but that's all right. The thing is, be consistent and keep going. And everyone has stumbling blocks, but sometimes people just stop at the moment. If they'd only push that little bit more, it was exactly where they wanted to be. But people stop just because it gets tough and say, that's it, I'm going. They throw the towel in and they're out of there. So I just didn't let that happen. And I kept going. I had support of beautiful friends. I very quickly mixed in with the community. So not only the Indian community, but the Zoroastrian community. That's my religious sort of background, and sort of got to meet a lot of people. And you'll think, what was that? Yes, it's Zoroastrian. We're the oldest monotheistic religion in the world, but we won't go into that for now. So there's lots. So I started doing that. And then I was, served as a president with them for 4 years, and was really good to be part. And when you look around you, you've got that support and love. Even it may not be financially, it's about everyone supporting you and you building your credibility every day and going stronger and on from there on. So, and then I started my business 3 years ago. And, I said I needed to do my own. I do come from a business background, as my father had business all his life. My mom's been in business, still is. And, so it was something I sort of said I want to do now. So I needed to fit in. And my biggest sort of ideal, or I look up to, was my dad. He's done, in business all these years, and I wanted to get into that. So that's how I got into business. In business, we need to realize that it's not going to be easy. People who were with you as friends before may not support you immediately financially. They need to again see you credible within the industry or whatever you're doing, because then when it comes to spending money, people are worried about. And we're part of BNI. We've seen it ourselves. There are different trades and industries that get referrals a lot easier than some trades. So it's about where it is, lawyers or real estate agents, people are not accountants, doesn't come that easily. It's because you're going to the personal space of people. So depending on what business you start, you need to be okay with that. But be very sure, as you asked me the first question, what's your why? Be sure about your why for yourself and your business and where your journey is, and find your niche. I've been sort of jack of all, master of none, but then I had to find the master within the real estate space. And I really like property management, which I've sort of holding on to. So that's how it's been, to understand where I need to be. And I just couldn't possibly do everything by myself. So I just needed to be okay with that, accept that, and then work from there on. So you need to accept it. It's not about accepting a weakness. It's about accepting what's right for you in the journey at the time, and then grow on the stuff you need to, and then come back and pull on those. You can't sort of do everything.
Yeah. So actually, that's I kind of wanted to lead into that myself with you. So you've been you've started your real estate business, Marker Realty, 3 years ago. You've already talked about sort of those starting blocks, the why, the niche, and be okay with what you're doing, what you've chosen. And accepting just accepting stuff. What sort of other sort of, rattle off, give us another maybe 2 or 3 business tips for starting up business. And so you've been in for 3 years. Looking back, what would you say if there was anything that you would have done a little bit differently?
Hard one to sort of break down for me. Like I said, if I could have marketed or posted it a bit differently, I would have looked at that, worked on my database and clientele beforehand. Would have been a little, I was raw in it, and I was as excited to be around, but you're raw in it, and it's, that was a starting block. And what I've realized is many people say, oh, no one else is doing it. How are you going to do it? And it's okay. You don't have to do what everyone does and follow the norm. And one of the hardest thing in my journey was I didn't have an office. I placed myself as a mobile agent. And this whole year, everyone's been mobile. Everyone's done what's never done. Everyone's worked from home,
Yes, yes.
and worked, or more than saying home, we're okay now. The new normal will be that remote working is possible equally well, and you don't have to have an office to be doing your work and doing it well. So and 3 years ago when I started as a mobile agent, though there were mobile lenders and mobile whatever have you, no, where is your office with the big billboards? I'm like, we don't need that, because I'm not selling or doing my office. I'm coming and doing your property, and that's where I need to be. So it's okay to accept that if you've got something different to offer, again, your why and your purpose, there will be challenges, but keep going, push through it. There is light at the end of the tunnel, just like we all are looking for this lockdown to end for us.
And you're right, because people will say, "Oh, that's never been done before. Do you know what you're doing? Are you sure?" You stay true to yourself, and you just keep going. Right?
Correct. And if somebody is, and it was very hard to be asked by a tenant and people saying, where is your office? Why should I give you the bond and the rent? Yeah, they are paying me $4,000 as bond and rent. They are worried where it goes. And when then you've got your membership with REIV, or you've got your registered business, you give the ABN, they're welcome to see it. People have done that. And then they've gone, okay, you are registered. All right, here's the money. So yes, it does sort of hit you a bit, and then saying, oh, is it right? I really need an office. That's what people, but it's like, no, that's okay. We can keep going.
So you're very disruptive to the industry by doing that.
To some extent, yes. And I'm still happy with that, because when COVID hit, we were in many thoughts ready for it, doing it remote, and happy with that. So I didn't have to lug around too many things, try to reset up an office out of an office space. Yeah. And then over time, first it was me, then I have a team. And as we are growing, it's still okay. And we do Zoom meetings every day. We can see them, we can talk, and stuff still gets done.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Awesome.
One other question I am very keen to know, like every industry has some new normal or new like something they adapt for this current situation. So what is new normal in your industry? I think you work with two industry as well, as far I know. What is the new normal that if you want to share with us?
I think the real estate industry had its own pivot points, and all the colleagues and stuff, everyone will have different stories to tell. But in the property management space, what was really good is, though there was lockdown, we could do at some extent remote or non-contact move-ins and stuff to some extent for the leases that were signed. People were looking at properties through videos that were done through, and the sales teams equally, captured that bit where videos were done, and people were looking. Buying probably not as much as confidently, but property management, there were leases to some extent still being signed and people moving in now as soon as everything's opened up with properties that were unseen. So we had to work with that normal and be as real and honest as we could be, and not just rely on photos that were magically taken, making the place look really beautiful, but give real videos so people could see how they could move into a place unseen. And there was a lot of transition interstate for jobs and stuff as well. So everyone had to work and help sync with those things. So yeah, I guess everyone has a little pivot point we all have to take on and see where we come out on the other side. We've done a lot of routine inspections, didn't stop any routine inspection. I did them all via Zoom. So we could still see the house. The owners were invited. So the owners, like they would be invited for in person. Yeah. So we had the tenant, the owner, and the agent connected on a Zoom, and we could walk through the house. So it was really good. And everyone had a real conversation. Everyone had a real reasonable conversation, because it wasn't a middleman talking. You could literally talk to each other straight. It was really good. So we still stayed on top with those things and tick those boxes. Yeah.
So tell me, why in real estate you chose your niche as property management?
People, the everyday sagas of people, everyday stuff. So I guess I like my phone to ring. I don't know. I just really like it. And every real estate industry, majority of the directors, if you look at the business, they're all sales driven. They're all sales boys. The real estate platform, everything is very real estate sales driven, buy and sell driven. There are very few people who just specialize in property management. And every agency or most agencies will have property management as an arm in the business because that's the bread and butter. So sales stop, all the sales boys went, okay, what do we do now? But property management still went on. So as long as people paid rent, we still got paid, the owners got paid, and that food cycle, chain cycle, that cycle still continued. So if that's the main lifeline of the business, why is it not as much loved? Most people will say, here's a new listing, property manager who's in this area, that's your portfolio, go with it. The person who picks up the listing doesn't stay connected. With me, I stay connected. That's all that I'm doing. That's my lifeline. That's your lifeline as an investor. And so that's why I chose it. And the pain points you would hear from everyone from their investments when they buy is we could never get in touch with the property manager. It's too hard or whatever. Kaz talks to clients. I have a lot of clients that are interstate and overseas. I'm their eyes and ears here. And the only reason they probably chose is because Kaz will talk to somebody in UK, which is morning there, 10 in the night here. They could never talk to a property manager who works a 9-to-5 job here. Very seldomly would they have somebody would answer a call for somebody. You know what I mean? Unless it's been pre-planned or something. I use WhatsApp and all the other channels. They could just chat with me. Nice. So it's much easier to connect when you give them what they really need. It's not about selling what you have and creating, just saying, here, take all my stuff and this is what we can do here, the invoice and pay for it. It's about giving them really what they need as well. Yeah, absolutely. And what we can help. Because investment, they want to grow. Some of them are very new investors. They never have. And if the sales guys don't do their sales spiel, they won't buy something. But it's about then holding their hand after that, saying, we can. And I started off with my banner. It's an old one. It says Mark of Trust. Is creating that trust with people. And now I've changed my logo, which a banner will come eventually, is, making property simple. We've got enough complications in our lives and enough things that we have to deal with. The last thing you want is to deal with this stress as well. So what we want to do is make property simple, really, and stay connected. And it's quite simple. And half the time, all the cases that go off, I can go on and on in property management that WeCat really has is the pain points. Somebody is not communicated something through soon enough, right enough, not enough. Right time, right communication. Yeah. Half the time, WeCat is just the mediator. So if we take those off right from the beginning and everyone's really connected and everyone's there, then we don't need to go to WeCat. We don't need a judge sitting there.
And for me, when I look at it, good businesses, good business owners or successful businesses and business owners, it does come down to the simple, right? It does come down to how it makes me as the investor feel when Kaz looks after my property. So and if it feels easy and simple and I'm connected, then why would I not continue this relationship on and on? And another interesting thing that that we spoke about too is that yes, there are first-time investors but what I feel through what we've talked about is that how you are with those relationships, that you also are really sort of boosting up their portfolio because it's a good experience, and why would they not go further? So I'd say that that's a bit of what you do in the background as well, Kaz.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to stay connected with people. And I was distracted while I was saying, because Robert's put a question in there as well. Has your marketing had to change a great deal due to current times? And that's true, because people, that's what I was saying before. Thank you, Robert, for that, is we've had to change and pivot, and do differently. Before it used to be a post and a picture and that was enough. And now you guys are doing it as well. We are live. We're talking in person. People want to see more videos. People want to see a good photo of you. Yes, real, capture the good moments, but keeping it real. All the fluff and the sales jargon is really not what people want. They've seen enough of that. And we want to go live and talk to people and connect. So yes, to some extent, we've had to change that, Rob, and keep it more live and real and connect with the everyday issues and problems and challenges that people want to hear about. Because there is a fear that's set in. This COVID times have set some fear to owners who've had to put their mortgages on hold. Some tenants have asked for rent reductions, and it was changing every day.
Yes.
Everyone heard the Prime Minister speak, and then you go, we'll reflect to our industries and go, what about us? What about us? And there were so many gray areas, and we all had this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had to work our way to find a stable footing and work through it. So we've all had to evolve.
Absolutely.
Sorry, what was a bit of your question? Did I answer that, or did I shift away from it?
It was just more about how I can see that you would take a first-time investor and through your relationship building actually probably increase their portfolio because of the experience you give them.
Absolutely. A lot of the time, there are some owners who are either first time, like you said, don't know what it's all about. So when I go for a listing presentation, I talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. So I tell them, look, I'm going to tell you everything. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but so and it's not a shock factor, or the impact that if something does happen is not that painful. You've built a bit of the muscle, a brain muscle or whatever muscle to take that impact if it so happens to come, right? And I tell my owners from the word go, I tell my team, my property managers, always keep the owners informed. And sometimes I feel I've told them a bit too much and they go start worrying because they are not used to this. We are used to this every day. But I tell them I'm just keeping you informed. So if we've got it in control, we're working on it, may not be a problem, but I want you to be informed that it doesn't come as a surprise. And what I've loved or like to do most, then I try and entail that to my team as well, is call the clients first. People like connection. People like to talk to you. Don't hide behind an email. That's only to dot the T's and dot the I's and cross the T's. But follow it up so they know, and it's in writing because people want to see everything in writing because that's court defensible. But the main thing is first talk to the person and connect and find out what's going on. So when you put an email, words don't explain things the same way as you can. So
absolutely. And it's a big investment, right?
It is. Time is a huge investment.
Time
is the biggest investment, and real estate somebody makes is one of the biggest investments they make for themselves and for their family, and want to see it grow. Want to see it grow in value, to buy more properties or sell and go elsewhere. There's lots of it.
So Imran,
we talk a lot about property business. I want to talk about you. Like, I want to know something about you. We was talking about legacy, and one of your why was the leave legacy in this world. So what legacy Kaz gonna leave for this world, and what is your plan for next 5 or 10 years? So that is I think the final question for me.
That's my secret. No. So look, I'm trying to learn and put things in my path so we can achieve them. I think goals need to be written down if you want to achieve them, and then reverse engineer your path to where it wants to be. I want to be by 55 or 60 when I get that age. I don't want to have to look back and worry about money. Let's put that problem aside. I want to be able to be there for my kids, for my extended family, and the legacy is not always legacy by monetary legacy. It's about what you give back, and people, it shouldn't be, I knew Kaz, but if someone can, you've got so many people who've left legacies, and, they'll be talked about for generations, whether it's in the music industry or any industry, the legacy is something that someone can talk about and remember you for and say, God, she was one person who did that, and it really made a difference. And for me, if I can help in my journey, 1 or 2 people along the way, every bit, who now think differently, who now choose their path differently, or give more confidence to someone who didn't have it and can face their challenges in daily life a lot easier. Those who come on the Monday mindfulness calls, that's my legacy. If it can go on and carry on where there's a platform with no strings attached, financially or anything, to come and learn and help themselves, then why not? My legacy is not about just financial legacy. It's about just being real with people and just being there. And that's why I'm part of a relationship marketing business as well. It's about just helping people where you can. And this COVID times has been perfect more than ever to help people at least put money back in their pocket where they can. why pay for things more than you don't need to? So it's about just doing things every small way. And would I love to grow my business? There's a plan in place. Like we said, we're pivoting and starting the white label service. There's a few things up my sleeve. As you know, I became a regional director in the marketing business as well last week. And I also got the MumPreneur Awards, which was amazing.
Yes.
As much as confident and strong I might come across, it was a big decision for me to make, to even put in or get nominated in those awards. You know, over the years, I never thought myself good enough to be part of an award or an industry award. So that was a thing. We haven't done enough yet to give yourself an award. I was my hardest tick. I was my hardest, So, and then this year I said, no, that's on the chart. You've done enough. Give yourself that credibility, give yourself, the law of abundance, the law of attraction, all those things. When I started reflecting on those things, I said, no, you have to be proud of yourself. You've done well. Put it on there. So I did. And it was an amazing platform with so many women entrepreneurs who are mothers as well. It was a MumPreneur Award, mothers entrepreneurs taking challenges every day and doing things with a smile. It was a platform not just for real estate, but there was clothing industry, fashion, food, innovation, community services. There was a huge array of, people nominated, and you were against the few in the finals as well. And some amazing stories that I heard is like, wow, and we're just doing it. And it's about recognizing and, applauding those little steps that we take. We forget to applaud ourselves. So when I've realized that you need to applaud yourself in the little ways you do, whether you're a good mother or a business person or help someone achieve the result for yourself. And then when you're happy with you can, make other people happy as well. Otherwise you're just snappy, and then it's no one's win. So that was my biggest learning and growth, Imran, that I'm going to have in the next few years, is being able to give back, but first be happy here. In emergencies, what do we learn when we're in the flight? You put your oxygen mask first. So you've got to be able to breathe better first, and then everything else just opens up and grows. And then every day as I serve people, that's my biggest aha moment. And I can see. So if I get challenges in my path in business, I still am okay, because they're meant to come. It was not happen. They were meant to come. So if you take it and say, oh, hello, challenge, how are you? Come on, sit down. Let's work you out. It's not as bad as going, oh, now what do? I can't deal with this. So it's about saying, come on down, let's sort you out. We'll see what we can do.
That's really absolutely. And we tend to I'd say that the norm is that when there's a challenge or a problem, we tend to look the other way rather than going, okay, you're here, you've made yourself present, now let's do this. So it's awesome. So Kaz, it's been absolutely awesome chatting to you. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Whether it's about your Monday mindfulness or Marker Realty or all the other awesome things that you do. What's the best way for
Facebook, LinkedIn, to our website. You can either go for realestatemarkerrealty.com.au. You can give me a call. My number is very much available online. You can check out the Marker Realty Facebook page as well, and or connect with me as Kazween Boiko on Facebook. And and we've got Monday Mindfulness groups, separate group, because it's a safe space that people want to be in. And if you join the group and come on the Zoom calls on Monday at 7 p.m. Australian time, we'll connect you with the rest of the group, and then we can share thoughts and ideas. And as we coach people through their journey, we'll be happy to be have you part of our family as well.
Nice. Thank you so
much, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure's all out.
Thank you. Yes,
awesome.
Yes. Amazing. And it's really good, not just for me, but for so many people that you get on every week and bring those businesses forward. It really makes a difference of you're doing your bit every day as well. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Kaz. Awesome. Okay. Bye. Wow. That was great. It's like I said in the beginning, you just get so consumed in Kaz's energy, and she's so vibrant and so energetic. I love that. Absolutely love that.
Like for Kaz, I use a term like when I see Kaz, it feels like it's a women empowerment. So
Empowerment.
that's my
Yes.
one adjective for Kaz, like women empowerment. So and
Yes.
she's awesome to talk and awesome to deal with as well. So
Yes.
that was a great talk.
That
I
was
really
great.
loved it and enjoy.
Okay, so
So
next week.
tell me about the next week guest, little bit. Let's just give us some hints.
Okay, so next week we actually have somebody coming on that does does what we do, and he's been doing it. He actually started it during COVID, but the speakers that he gets to talk with are just amazing. So we actually, selfishly have I've invited him to share his story, plus also hopefully give us some tips, which I'm
Great.
sure he'll be happy to share.
Viewers, just feel free to give your feedback. Feedback is key. Whatever is bad or good or anything excellent, please share. Give us some feedback. We really love your feedback. And if you wanna have any suggestion, feel free to contact with us. And also, if you wanna join our program, that's also open for you guys. Anything for this week, Deborah, to finish up?
Yes.
Any code or anything that you like to?
It's interesting you should say that. I did have a quote that I was working on this morning for something for me, and now I've lost it. But it's around, know your problems, but give your power and your energy to the solutions. Right?
That's a
So
great
yeah. And that's a Tony Robbins quote.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for this week, and we will see you next week with our another exciting guest. Bye-bye.
Bye.